Bringing you the latest news from around the world, and here at home, I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. Here are your headlines.
TNA supports the appointment of a UNF Prime Minister who has majority with President's approval. President holds discussion with the Speaker. UNF leader and opposition leader summoned tomorrow. Motion to prevent Prime Minister's secretary from using state funds passed in Parliament with 123 votes. UPFA responds saying the opposition has no right to curtail the expenses of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister assures that nothing will be done in any legal manner.
The TNA has informed the President they would extend their support to establish a United National Front-led government, as this was the status quo that existed before the 26th of October. 14 parliamentarians representing the TNA signed this letter.
The TNA notes, following the 26th of October, the President appointed an MP as Prime Minister, and on a number of occasions, the MP has failed to win the confidence of the House. They further asked the President to appoint who, in his opinion, can command the confidence of the House from the United National Front as Prime Minister. The letter reads that the no-confidence motion passed on the 14th and 16th of November pertaining to his claims to be the Prime Minister have created a controversy in the country as to whether the country is without a Prime Minister and a Cabinet of Ministers. Therefore, TNA MPs request President to appoint a nominee of the UNF in his opinion.
Continuing in local news, Speaker's office announced this evening that President Maithripala Sirisena has agreed to meet with the leaders of the United National Front and the opposition leader tomorrow evening.
The office of the Speaker said this was confirmed to the Speaker when he met the President this afternoon. At the meeting, the Speaker has pointed out the importance of resolving the matter immediately, as the country cannot continue to be burdened with the depreciation of the rupee, the downfall in investment and tourism, and taking into account the instability spreading across all spheres. The Speaker's office noted the President gave a positive response and had appreciated the Speaker's commitment to reach a solution to the present crisis.
Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa made a request from the Speaker during the Parliament session held today. This request was made before the Speaker met with the President.
According to the Constitution of this country, the statutory power and the judicial power of the country is held by the Supreme Parliament. When this problem is handed over to the Supreme Court to give the power to make decisions related to this problem, it is not solving the problem for the country but condemning the Parliament. As the Speaker, a huge responsibility falls on to you to coordinate with the President and resolve this conflict between the legislature and the executive. I'm stating that at this moment that there is no point in doing a post-mortem examination over the incidents that happened over the past period. Instead, we must concentrate over finding a solution for this problem. And that, I remind you, being given the opportunity for the party that commands the majority of the Parliament to form a government. I ask you kindly hold discussions with the President and stabilize the political situation within the country within a day or two. I have also made this request to the President. There seems to be a positive response from his side.
There is no difficulty to hold a discussion between the President and myself. We can hold a discussion. There is a mutual trust between us, and I am also in the process of protecting democracy. We have the responsibility of protecting democracy for our future generation. Therefore, according to the solution you present, I will take all possible efforts to make it happen. We will be able to bring up a solution as quickly through discussion and according to public opinion and Parliament majority and make this country stable.
This crisis is the result of a conspiracy. We, the JVP, believe that such a crisis cannot be resolved through peaceful and calm roundtable discussions, and therefore the Constitution should be used as the guide to solve this crisis. The President should act adhering to the Constitution. This is where the problem is. Dear Speaker, I do not mind if you or any other party discusses these issues with the President. I do not mind if any intermediary holds discussions with the President. But remember, the JVP will not hold discussions with the President. With the consent of both parties, we have to arrive at an agreement for a period between 3 to 6 months. I believe that instead of maintaining government control from one end, a policy to empower both parties should be established. Elections must be held as soon as possible to determine the people's mandate. It does not matter who is right or wrong. At this point, the only question that matters is what is right or wrong. We have marched forward in our achievement. We win, they lose, but ultimately it's our country that loses. Amidst this struggle, if one of us is to raise white flags in the name of peace, I will gaze at it with much enthusiasm. If the speaker immediately discusses these issues with the president, we are ready to solve this issue on a peaceful platform.
ජනාධිපතිවරයා ලෑස්ති නම් ඒක සාමයෙන් විසඳ ගන්නට අපි ලෑස්ති.
Now, what does Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa have to say? This was his response to the journalists at Parliamentary Complex today.
It will. We are waiting till it does. We will not let it go. We will not let anything go. We will not do anything illegal either.
The following views were expressed by the Deputy Leader of United National Party, Sajith Premadasa. Through the intervention of the Speaker, we ask His Excellency the President to stop the unconstitutional and illegal activity that has been ongoing for 30 days and to hand over the responsibilities to the group with the legal majority. Do not let the country down. Think of the country and the people at this instance, and I urge you to make the correction as soon as possible. What should be in place is a constitutional government. There was a government on the 26th of October. Establish that government that had a majority.
නැවත ස්ථාපනය කරන්න. ජනාධිපතිතුමා කියන සමහර දේවල් ඔබතුමාලා ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවානේ. ඒකනේ මේ ගැටීම මේක සමතේකල පස්සින් නැතුව රට ස්ථාපනය කොහොමද? මම හිතන්නේ මම විශ්වාස
I think the president also believes the group with the majority in the parliament is us. What did Vijaydas Rajapaksa and Venerable Athuriya Ratanathera say? They said allow the majority.
බහුතරයට ඉඩ දෙන්න.
ඔබතුමා තරුණේ නියෝජ්‍ය නායකයා. තරුණ නායකත්වයක් ජනතාවත් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා. පක්ෂේ මදහස් අනුව රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මත වයසට ගිය කෙනෙක්. දැන් අර ගිහිල්ලා කියනවා ජනාධිපතිතුමනි මම බාර ගන්නා රට අකර්මණී වීමෙන් වළකාරීම සඳහා මම මේ කැපීම කරනවා.
අපි හැමෝටම ආසාවන්තයි.
We all have aspirations, but all these things have to be done as per the constitution. I am Sajith Premadasa. I am the deputy leader of the UNP. We have a parliamentary group. We have a party working committee. We take decision after inquiring ideas of everyone. His Excellency the President called me and said he will give me the position of the Prime Minister on 10 separate occasions, on 10 separate days. But I am truly thankful for having faith in me. There is a way that things can be done. There is a way.
ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවා. පිළිවෙලක් තියෙනවා.
අක්‍රමාත්මකයන්ගේ පැහැදිලි කපාගෙන යෝජනාව පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ 123 දෙනෙක්ගෙන් සමතුනානේ. එතනින් පස්සේ වෙන ක්‍රියාවලිය මොකක්ද?
එතනින් පස්සේ
There's no more speaking after that. The government is finished. The government must resign. Otherwise, it must be removed.
A proposal stating that the Prime Minister's secretary does not have the power to use public funds was approved by Parliament with 123 votes in favour.
Leader of the House, Dinesh Gunawardena, has informed the General Secretary of the Parliament that such a proposal cannot be brought forward. The letter states, as per clause 152 of the Constitution, such a proposal can only be brought forward following cabinet approval. Accordingly, the ruling party boycotted parliamentary sessions and gathered at the parliamentary complex. This parliament is conducted in an illegal manner. The speaker does not respect the law. Due to his controversial actions, we decided not to participate in parliamentary sessions. Go and check clause 152. Such a proposal can only be brought forward by a minister. This same topic is currently being debated at courts. Therefore, a topic being debated at courts cannot be debated in parliament as well. However, in reply to Dinesh Gunawardena's letter, the speaker said that the prevalence of a court case will not obstruct the proposal brought forward by the United National Front. According to the second paragraph of Section 48 of the Constitution, the statement made by the Speaker on the 15th of November was accepted by Parliament. The Parliament has complete control of government finance, and therefore the Prime Minister's Secretary does not have the power to approve any payments from state funds. Legal action will be taken against whoever violates this. I suggest this to Parliament for approval. 84 million has been spent for helicopters during these 21 days. This is what we attempt to stop. We are requesting government employees to follow the law. I recall Lalit Veeratunga, who was an honest and clever official. But what happened? He is being punished by courts due to following orders of politicians without committing any crime from his end.
ඒ දේශපාලකයෝ කියපු දෙයට කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා අද උසාවියෙන් ඒ ලැබුණ දඬුවම. මෙම යෝජනාව ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ vote.
This proposal is being submitted requesting a vote for expenditure overheads. This expenditure overhead is being proposed on behalf of the expenditure overhead of the Prime Minister and his Secretariat. Therefore, this is completely legal and we have the power to do this. We have clearly proved that we have majority in Parliament and the Speaker had clarified this point as well. A government with no majority cannot go forward. It is with much respect we request you all to resign from this government.
එම නිසා අපි ඉල්ලනවා සදාචාර ලෙස මේ ආණ්ඩුවට ඉල්ලා අස්වෙන්න. අපේ රටේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයෙක් නැහැ.
There is no Prime Minister in our country. We do not mind this. But they are playing with money that belongs to the General Treasury. The money that belongs to the people of this country. However, I must remind you that power and reward to both Mahinda Rajapaksa as well as the former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will be lost.
මේ යෝජනාව සම්මත වූවහම අරලියගහ මන්ත්‍රීන් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතාද පිටත් ඉවත්ව යා යුතු කියලා අපි යෝජනා කරනවා. We are bearing the total cost of the meeting held yesterday, including the cost for electricity. The money we spent are from personal sponsors. So is this temple trees like a hotel that can be rented to any individual? If the JP requires, we will give it to them as well. We are happy that this issue has been defeated in Parliament. I am not a President's counsel. I can see that intermediate and external deals are being used to solve this issue. This may be the strategy of the United National Party.
Members of the ruling party who boycotted parliamentary sittings today held a media briefing at the parliamentary complex.
We informed
that we cannot be part of an unconstitutional parliamentary proceeding. This is the letter we handed over with 3 key points. First is that the day's agenda prepared is wrong. The second is that a budget approved in Parliament with an appropriation bill can only be amended with a proposal presented in Parliament by a member of Parliament. Third is that when a petition filed by former Prime Minister and a group of MPs is being taken up, nothing can be discussed in legal sense. The Committee on Selection was appointed to let Speaker continue working in an autocratic manner. The Business Committee has not been appointed yet. This shows that he is misusing the power and has now made Parliament the new Sirikota headquarters to hold their meetings. This is an illegal proposal. This goes against the standing orders and the Constitution, and this is why we don't agree with them.
යෝජනාවක් ඒ නිසා තමයි අපි ගිහිල්ලා ඒ යෝජනාවට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ. මේක අපි දකින්නේ ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම බොහොම සූක්ෂම.
We see this as a ploy by the previous government to handle parliamentary proceedings on their political agendas.
ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තු කටයුතු මෙහෙවන්න ගෙනාපු උපක්‍රමයක් හැටියට ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණ විනිශ්චයකාරතුමාගේ බිරිඳ ආයෝජන මණ්ඩලය.
It was posted on social media that the promotion of a wife of a Supreme Court judge at the Board of Investment was a bribe. She has been serving from the previous regime. This is not something done by the present government. It does not matter what the verdict is. The next political era of the country will begin with the verdict given by the courts.
අධිකරණ තීන්දුවත් එක්ක මේ රටේ දේශපාලනයේ ඊළඟ පරිච්ඡේදය ආරම්භ වෙනවා තීන්දුව වුණත්.
The chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, made the following statement at the Galle District Secretariat.
It is not real democracy when the real democracy is when the opinion of the majority does not hinder the minority, where there is a point where everyone can rally around. We will all raise our hands for democracy. That is where all Sri Lankans can get together.
Several protests took place across the island demanding an election be held.
The program to obtain 5 million signatures demanding a general election organized by the Pavidi Handa commenced today. The program was held in the Abhayarama temple this morning. We are ready to take 50 million signs and make a big petition. We are ready to obtain the signatures from Point Dondra to Point Pedro for this petition. We do not have a legislature. We do not have an executive. Because there is a nominal executive, we are going to hand this over to the executive. These signatures are for a general election. This country cannot be rebuilt without a general election. This is the beginning. A program to obtain signatures demanding for a general election was held in Colombo today. The Satyagraha campaign organized by the Sisujana movement demanding an election continued for a 5th day today. A protest was held in the Ginigathena area demanding a general election. The protest was organized by the local government representatives of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and signatures were obtained for a protest. A similar protest was organized in the Yatiyantota area.
Meanwhile, today is the 9th day of the Satyagraha campaign launched under the theme Let's Unite to Protect Democracy, which is being staged opposite the Colombo Municipal Council, which commenced on the 21st of this month.
The Satyagraha is organized by the civil societies and trade unions affiliated to the United National Front. Representatives of the local authorities from the UMP arrived this morning and participated in the Satyagraha. The educational sector has fallen and some students are left without uniforms. The country is in a bad situation and we ask the President to open his eyes. We are ready as urban councillors to stand in forefront ahead of such battles. Meanwhile, a protest was staged by a group of masked individuals opposite the Presidential Secretariat. Following the interference by the police, an argument broke out between the two groups.
බැනර් එක පේන්නේ නැති වුණාට මේ බැනර් එක වහගෙන හිටියට අපි ජනාධිපතිවරයාට කියන්නේ ඔබ පසුගිය ඔක්තෝබර් 26 වෙනිදා නිර්මාණය කළ අර්බුදය ඔබ වහා වැදිහත් වී විසඳන්න ගේම් ගැහුවා ඇති සියලු ව්‍යවස්ථා කුමන්ත්‍රණකරුවන්ට කියන්නේ.
After expressing their views to media, the protesters dispersed, removing their masks.
The 40th National Youth Awards ceremony was held yesterday.
The awards ceremony was held at the Nelum Pokana in Colombo. Minister of Buddha Sasan and Religious Affairs as well as the National Youth Services Council organized the event. 160 artists were appreciated at the event and several ministers were invited for the awards ceremony. 2 young artists rejected accepting awards from 2 politicians. The youth artists were Surin Chammikara, who won an award for the best short movie, and Kasun Chaturanga. Let's now take a look at some news from the courts. Chief Financial Officer of Litrogas Company, Murita Harshajit, in his evidence before the Permanent High Court trial at bar said the Litrogas funds were used to pay transport allowances for 39 separate individuals, including Venerable Dambara Amilatero, Justin Galapatti and Janaka Mallavarachi. The CFO testified as he did not approve these payments, or the payments were made via a secret account maintained by Litrogas Company. He went on to state since 2016, Litrogas paid a transport allowance of 95,000 rupees per month to Venerable Dambara Amilatero. He said the Minister of Finance has requested the company management via a letter to pay 100,000 rupees as transport allowance to the Venerable Thero, and when he was informed by the management, he did not approve the payments. The CFO of Litrogas was cross-examined by President's Counsel Ali Sabri. The case filed against former President's Chief of Staff Gamini Senrath and 3 others for the criminal misappropriation of 500 million rupees from Litrogas Company was taken up today. The beneficial owner of Perpetual Treasuries, Arjun Aloysius, and the company's CEO, Kasun Palisena, have been remanded until the 4th of December. The order was given by Fort Magistrate Ranga Disanayaka. The 2 are suspects in the ongoing case surrounding the Central Bank bond issuance. The magistrates further ordered the court registrar that the case be transferred to the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court. Magistrate Ranga Disanayaka further added that he cited personal reasons and the Judicial Services Commission granted approval to have the case transferred to the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court.
This judge has exercised high standards of ethics. He has therefore earned the people's respect for honorably dispensing his duties to the judiciary by upholding its highest standards. Our only hope is that those who are appointed to presidential commissions exercise this same high ethical and moral standards.
Still continuing in local news, 3 women were killed and another 19 injured in an accident that took place in Valhapitia this afternoon. Now, the police stated that a luxury bus plying from Jaffna to Colombo had overturned and fallen into the Olanda stream. Those who sustained injuries were admitted to the Maravilla hospital. The deceased were 3 residents of Jaffna.
In a monumental move in the fight against modern-day slavery, a modern slavery bill passed both houses of the Australian Parliament and will come into effect upon assent by the Governor-General.
According to the bill, modern slavery has been defined to encompass offences such as slavery, servitude, forced labour, deceptive recruiting, trafficking in persons, debt bondage, forced marriage and organ trafficking. The bill establishes a modern slavery reporting requirement to require certain large businesses and other entities in Australia to make annual public reports or modern slavery statements on their actions to address modern slavery risks in their operations and supply chains. Meanwhile, Australian business magnate Andrew Forrest, founder of the Walk Free Foundation, which is largely seen to be the driving force behind this, said Australia now has the chance to lead by example and convince other nations to legislate their own modern slavery acts. In addition to this, effectively combating modern slavery has been one of the key objectives of the Bali Process Government and Business Forum, which is co-chaired by Australia and Indonesia. The global estimates of modern slavery produced by Walk Free and the ILO in partnership with the International Organization for Migration estimated that there were 40.3 million people in the world subject to conditions of modern slavery, which included an estimated 25 million in forced labor and 15 million people, predominantly women and girls, in forced marriage.
Newsfirst made inquiries about the group of South Indian workers who lodged a complaint that they have not received remuneration or facilities for 3 months for the services they have provided.
The Foreign Ministry said that the ministry cannot officially intervene as the South Indian workers were brought into the country by a private organization. However, the ministry noted that the Department of Immigration should intervene to look into this. When Newsfirst inquired from the Department of Immigration, Senior Assistant Controller of Investigations MJV Karivasam said that the department has already begun investigations. He added that by Tuesday, arrangements will be made to send the 30 Indian workers back to their country and that the private company was informed of this. The Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka, however, did not issue an official statement on the matter. This group is currently residing in Katuputta, Galevela. Newsfirst provincial reporter spoke to the Indian workers and this is what one of them had to say.
Yesterday, manager selects a big manager came, but all discuss, all people guys all discuss, all problems solve, food arrange, no problem. Salary, but going time given, but Monday is final. But I'm very happy. Monday I going India. 40 is okay. Monday clear.
They have arrived in the country through an Indian contractor to construct high-tension power lines. These workers charged that this company had not provided the salary for these people and they are currently facing hardships as a result.
There were salary issues for months, so now they are complaining that they can't work anymore. They didn't have food to eat. Even for medicine, the company didn't give them money.
This issue is of importance as this could most definitely be the tip of an iceberg as there are thousands of foreign nationals who are employed in Sri Lanka for constructions. A serious question arises as to how many more people of this nature could be in our country.
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
This is good. What Sirisa is doing is great. We have brought fame to the country, not expecting money, but getting awarded means a lot because it encourages all of us.
Sports First, Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
And that's a wrap of your primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
Take care and good night.